Everybody needs to get out. 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 Everybody needs to get out of the store. Everybody needs to get out.
What's going on? Can't give me any information.
Somebody got a young female that got by a male.
Adult female? Okay, how many people did you see were hurt?
I just wanted to know if she gave me the STD, which I knew she did. Just wanted her to tell me. Just tell me so I can keep it in, so I can calm down. I don't care if she texts me or not. If Brooklyn has somebody else, I don't care about that. I'm not mad about that. But she knew she gave me something.
On the morning of August 11th, 2023, what should have been a normal day at a Home Depot in Pensacola, Florida, turned into a scene of unimaginable horror. Amid the bustling aisles and unsuspecting shoppers, a young mother's life is about to be taken in the most brutal way. Brooklyn Sims, an 18-year-old devoted mother of one, full of promise and dreams, was about to become the victim of a senseless act of violence that would shock the entire community. In the mid-hours of August 11th, 2023, at around 1:30, the Escambia County Sheriff's Office would receive multiple 911 reports of an active shooter inside the Home Depot on 5309 N Davis Highway, Pensacola. When police arrived, they found Brooklyn's lifeless body, and to everyone's disbelief, the shooter was the father of her own child, Keith Ag. But as investigators dug deeper into the events leading up to the tragedy, a chilling revelation emerged. He had killed her after receiving STD results that convinced him she had been unfaithful, results that were later discovered to be completely fake. What drove a man to commit such an irreversible act, and how could a single lie spiral into a fatal tragedy? But before the footage reveals the unimaginable, let's retrace the path that led to tragedy. 18-year-old Brooklyn Sims was born and raised in the town of Pensacola, Florida. Brooklyn was known for her vibrant personality and her loving nature. Her family described her as a sweet, gentle soul with a smile that could brighten up any room. Brooklyn had one child, a precious daughter named Casey, with her ex-boyfriend Keith Ag. Brooklyn's story was one of resilience. Despite being so young, she worked diligently, supporting herself and her daughter by working for a company contracted by Home Depot. Her work involved inventory tasks, one of which took her to the Home Depot store on the fateful day in August, where she would heartbreakingly meet her death. She was joyful, vibrant, and endlessly outgoing, effortlessly making friends and leaving lasting impressions. Her family described her as someone impossible not to love, a soul whose warmth drew people in and made them feel seen. But that same magnetic energy, the very quality that made her unforgettable, may have also pulled her into a relationship that carried hidden dangers. Brooklyn was just 15 years old and a freshman in college when her life took a dramatic turn. During this time, she met 17-year-old Keith Eric Ag Jr. Keith, with his charming demeanor and easy smile, quickly caught Brooklyn's attention. From the moment their paths crossed, there was an undeniable spark. What began as innocent companionship soon deepened into something that would change Brooklyn's life forever. By the age of 16, Brooklyn was pregnant with Keith's child. Her family, understandably concerned, worried about how the young couple would handle the enormous responsibilities of parenthood. Brooklyn was only 15, Keith just 17. Yet despite their fears, her family stood firmly behind her, determined to support her through the challenges ahead. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming. Their relationship was far from perfect. As the pressures of parenthood loomed closer, arguments and misunderstandings became frequent. Brooklyn, young and in love, struggled to make sense of Keith's behavior. She wanted to build a future with him, but something felt off. From the outside, she thought she knew who Keith was. In reality, he was hiding far more than she could have imagined. 17-year-old Keith Eric Ag Jr. was born on January 6, 2005 in Alabama to Keith Ag Sr. and Sheila Rivers Ag. As the eldest of 2 children, he held a unique place in the family. Outwardly, their household appeared stable, but beneath the surface, turmoil brewed. Sheila, known for her fiery personality, often aired relationship issues with Keith Sr. online. By 2018, after nearly 20 years together, the couple officially separated. Despite the split, Sheila remained closely bonded with her children, especially with Keith Jr. He was often seen by her side, seemingly favored, and allowed freedoms his siblings didn't enjoy. As he grew older, those early red flags became harder to ignore. He carried a history of domestic violence and troubling behavior. He had been arrested multiple times. On January 18, 2022, he was charged with harassing communications and third-degree assault. Just months later, on April 14, 2022, he was arrested again, this time for third-degree domestic violence. Reports described him as having serious anger management issues, something friends and family had witnessed firsthand. For Brooklyn, the reality of Keith's volatility was still hidden. What she saw was the boy who had captured her heart, the father of her child. But beneath the surface, Keith's demons were already shaping a dangerous path, one that would eventually intertwine with Brooklyn's fate in the most tragic way. In late 2021, Brooklyn and Keith welcomed their baby girl, Casey Brooke Ag. Despite her young age, Brooklyn embraced motherhood with a maturity far beyond her years. But Brooklyn's relationship with Keith was already hitting the rocks. While Keith lived in Calvert, Alabama, Brooklyn and Casey were based in Pensacola, Florida. Friends of Brooklyn shared that Keith never truly treated her with the respect she deserved. Still, Brooklyn's focus was clear. She wanted to give her baby the best life possible. If that meant continuing to co-parent with Keith, she was willing to do it. Keith himself would later admit that the two still slept together occasionally. From time to time, Brooklyn would spend nights at his place or his at hers, watching movies, laughing, and playing with Casey. But Brooklyn knew that being a good mother meant more than emotional support. She needed to provide for her daughter financially. With the help of Keith's mother, Sheila Rivers Ag, Brooklyn began working. She secured a job at Home Depot as an inventory associate, determined to build stability for herself and her child. Sheila often gave Brooklyn rides to work, stepping in as a source of support during those early days of motherhood. On the morning of August 11, 2023, Sheila once again drove Brooklyn to her shift. Neither of them could have imagined that this ordinary ride would mark the beginning of a tragically unforgettable day. On August 11, 2023, Brooklyn was working at the Home Depot in Pensacola when the unthinkable happened. She was performing routine inventory checks in aisle 52 when she became the target of a brutal shooting. The shooter was identified as Keith Eric Ag Jr., Brooklyn's ex-boyfriend and the father of her child. Witnesses inside the store described hearing gunshots followed by the sound of a person running away from the scene. By the time first responders arrived, Brooklyn was already gone, having succumbed to her injuries. The crime itself happened incredibly fast.
Keith, furious over a recent medical diagnosis, confronted Brooklyn about a personal matter, his belief that she had given him a sexually transmitted disease. In a fit of rage, Keith confronted Brooklyn in the aisle and, without warning, fired multiple rounds at her. The store's security cameras captured the harrowing moment, showing Keith, dressed in work attire, walking directly to the aisle where Brooklyn was located. It only took a matter of seconds for the situation to escalate from a simple confrontation to a deadly altercation. According to witnesses, Keith said a few words to Brooklyn, including a chilling remark. "Hey, you gave me something." Brooklyn, clearly frustrated, responded, "Not this again," and turned away, attempting to walk off. Brooklyn, taken by surprise, had no time to react or defend herself before the bullets struck her body. In total, Keith fired 7 rounds from his pistol. Several of those bullets struck Brooklyn, killing her instantly at the scene. But Brooklyn wasn't the only victim that day. 2 other Home Depot employees happened to be working in the same aisle when the gunfire erupted. One was grazed in the back by a bullet while desperately trying to escape. The other was struck in the hand as she attempted to run. Both were rushed to the hospital, where they survived with what doctors described as minor injuries. Inside the store, chaos unfolded in seconds. Shoppers and employees scrambled for cover, the sound of gunshots echoing through the aisles. Another employee, hearing the terrifying blasts, sprinted behind the counter and dialed 911, his voice shaking as he reported the active shooter situation. Meanwhile, emergency services arrived to find the tragic scene. Brooklyn was found lying in aisle 52, already deceased from her multiple gunshot wounds. Nearby, investigators discovered 9mm shell casings scattered around the aisle, further confirming the deadly nature of the attack. At this point, the investigation began to unfold quickly, but what investigators didn't expect was the web of lies and deceit that would soon emerge.
Everybody needs to get out. 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 Everybody needs to get out of the store. Everybody needs to get out.
So the at Home Depot? Okay, what's the person look like that's been what's going on? Can't give me any information.
A young female that got shot by a male.
Adult female? Okay, how many people did you see were hurt?
17497. Multiple people outside confirming down by the garden center.
That's more traffic for a unit.
The shooter saw him run out this way. He went out this door.
What was he wearing?
I couldn't see it.
Real light faded blue shirt with 2 white stripes.
Light faded blue shirt, stripes down the side. Find a white male ran back toward Davis Highway. Go ahead. Is there any victims I need?
There's a victim down on our... He ran out. She's gone.
174 confirmed signal 7.
There's multiple shells.
Yep, we're just...
713
Yeah, because we got casings. Don't kick them, please.
He did. You have to stay out right now. You have to stay out right now. Okay.
I got him, you got her.
Okay.
All right, what happened?
Okay.
What you got?
That's my truck right there. I
Okay.
see my truck. I just loaded up. I started the truck. I saw the guy run around the corner. He had on a blue jacket, black male,
What's his name?
25 to 30, 6'1", slim build. He had a Glock 19 in this hand running. And when I saw the Glock, I'm like,
I'm on aisle 1. They're like on this way behind me. I heard a voice that I don't recognize. I thought he was cussing, but I heard him looking down at her because she'd been down counting. He said, "You think I'm playing with you?" or something like that. Like he made a comment, "You think I'm playing with you? Or you think I'm talking?" He made that type of comment. I loaded and just started.
As the initial shock of the shooting began to wear off, the investigation quickly turned its attention to identifying the shooter. Eyewitness accounts from both employees and shoppers inside the Home Depot revealed critical details. Witnesses described the shooter as a man wearing a blue reflective work shirt, and soon after, the Escambia County Sheriff's Office began searching for him. They soon received a call from the Pensacola Police Department, who reported finding a Glock 19 handgun near the scene of the shooting. The gun had been discarded, its scratches indicating that it had likely been thrown from a vehicle as the shooter fled the area. Testing later confirmed that the gun matched the bullets used to kill Brooklyn Sims. The hunt for the suspect didn't take long. Just minutes after the shooting, Keith Ag had bolted out of the Home Depot, jumped into his car, and sped away. As he drove, he tossed the pistol out of the window, discarding the weapon that had just unleashed chaos. He eventually parked near a nearby Lowe's, abandoning his vehicle before walking toward a movie theater. But instead of disappearing into the crowd, Keith stopped at a pizza restaurant in the same lot. There, in a chilling display of calmness, he dialed 911 and turned himself in.
He was in distress, claiming to have made a mistake and wanting to turn himself in. He confessed to being the one who shot Brooklyn, but he wasn't entirely forthcoming with the truth about his actions. When police arrived, they found Keith shirtless, walking steadily toward them in the parking lot. He offered no resistance, surrendering without incident. Officers immediately took him into custody, charging him with the murder of Brooklyn Sims. Meanwhile, investigators began combing the surrounding area for the discarded weapon. Their search led them to the side of Davis Highway, where the gun was discovered lying exactly where Keith had thrown it from his car.
Can you confirm her name for me?
Yes.
Okay, what is the victim's name? Her name is oh, okay, I thought that was your name. Brooklyn
I'm sorry.
Taylor.
Yeah, that's Brooklyn.
Brooklyn Taylor.
My name is Sheila. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Did you hear or see anything?
No, I was in.
Okay, and so
I heard. And I just.
you know her well at all to
Oh,
know if
God.
she has.
I know.
Does she have a baby daddy?
Yeah, my son is her baby daddy.
Your son is her child. Have they been having issues?
No.
Okay, what's your son's name?
Keith.
Are they broken up?
Oh, they hadn't been together in years.
But they have children together.
One baby.
Current address and all of that on here, okay? Oh, EMS! Get EMS! Somebody, EMS! Come here. Hey. All right. Okay. All right, now! Someone get somebody now! Hey. Her son has a child.
We're gonna get you
with
some
our victim.
nice cold eggs. Have you put them on?
I know, it's a lot.
I'm trying to turn myself in.
Okay, where are you at?
Pensacola, Alabama.
Pensacola, Alabama?
Yes, ma'am. I don't know what street I'm on.
What are you trying to turn yourself in for?
Ma'am?
What are you trying to turn yourself in for?
I made a mistake. I don't know.
Oh, no, you're fine. Just calm down. We'll get someone to help you.
Ma'am, look, I do I don't have a, but I just want to meet you. I can't.
Okay, you're fine. Are you at a business right now?
Can't be trying to tell me in front of the IMAX. That's what
You're
it
at
is.
the movie theater?
That's what it is.
Okay, are you in the parking lot of the movie theater?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in the parking lot by myself, and no cars around me. They'll see me if they pull over here.
Okay.
Today, the woman shot to death inside a Home Depot in Pensacola is being identified as 18-year-old Brooklyn Sims. We have a copy of the arrest report, and as WKRG News 5's Alexa Daly tells you, it says the victim and the man now charged with used to be a couple.
According to an arrest report, 20-year-old Keith Ag was seen walking down aisle 52 in the Home Depot on Davis Highway Friday. Witnesses say that's when Ag exchanged words with a contract worker at the store. The report says he then shot her. Family members Monday identifying the victim as 18-year-old Brooklyn Sims.
We're still looking at the motive, trying to figure out exactly why he did this, certainly why he did this on that date in such a public area. But there was a past relationship, so it is considered to be domestic violence.
Court records show Ag was arrested in February on domestic violence charges in Mobile, involving a different woman, but those charges were dismissed in May. Escambia County Sheriff Chip Simmons encouraging anyone who may be in a dangerous situation to reach out for help.
If you are the victim of domestic violence, whether you think it's a one-time thing or not, you need to call law enforcement because, again, too often these things escalate, and unfortunately, as we saw on Friday, they can escalate to a point where someone's.
According to deputies, 2 other contract employees who were working in that same aisle were also shot as they tried to run away. Those 2 workers are expected to survive. Deputies say Ag ran from the store and drove away, but later turned himself in. Ag is charged with first-degree premeditated and aggravated battery. Sheriff Chip Simmons says they are continuing to investigate. In Escambia County, Alexa Daly, WKRG News 5.
As Keith sat in custody, he offered a confession, claiming that he had acted in a moment of passion, but the pieces of the puzzle were far more complicated than that. He explained to investigators that the argument which led to the shooting stemmed from his anger over a recent medical diagnosis. He had contracted an STD and believed Brooklyn was the one who gave it to him. Keith's fragile state of mind, combined with his violent temper, had created the perfect storm for a deadly confrontation. Keith claimed that after receiving the news from his doctor, he tried calling Brooklyn multiple times, but she had ignored his calls and texts. He eventually tracked her down at the Home Depot, where she was working on a job for her contracted company. Keith said he went to confront her about the disease, hoping to get some acknowledgement from her. But when he arrived, Brooklyn dismissed him, brushing off his accusations with a simple remark, "Not this again." It was this dismissal, Keith claimed, that sent him into a rage. He immediately pulled out his handgun and shot Brooklyn at point-blank range. The attack was swift and brutal, leaving Brooklyn with multiple gunshot wounds. Keith then fled the scene, trying to make it appear as though the crime was an act of passion, not premeditation. What would emerge as the most shocking revelation in the investigation, however, was the involvement of Keith's mother, Sheila Ag. Sheila was not only Keith's mother, but also the supervisor of Brooklyn at Home Depot. The two women had a close relationship, and Sheila even considered Brooklyn a daughter. However, in the hours leading up to the murder, Sheila played a far more significant role in enabling the tragedy.
What we can try to do is,
I don't understand.
Well, help us. We want to understand, but before that...
How about we start with just your name? I don't even know who I'm talking to. How can I understand if I don't even know who you are? Right? I told you who I am.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. It does too, because I don't want to be talking to no stranger.
Nobody cares about it. Nobody gives a
How can nobody give? We don't even know who your family is to be able to tell anybody.
They don't care. I just wanted to know if she gave me the STD, which I knew she did. Just wanted her to tell me. Just tell me so I can keep it in, so I can calm down.
Because I'm putting the pieces together. You didn't have one going in, did you?
No, sir. I thought everything was going good. She came over to my house. Me, her, and Casey. Had just chilled in bed all weekend, laid there, played. Casey having fun. And I drop off Monday, text her, she don't text me. Yeah, she calls me Monday morning. I missed the call, go to call her back. She's like, I'll call you when I work. Get to the hotel for work. I said, okay. I don't care if she texts me or not. If Brooklyn has somebody else, I don't care about that. I'm not mad about that. But she knew she gave me something, and she wouldn't talk to me or own up to it. At least don't block me when I ask you, like, hey, I'm being real with you. If you gave me something, just let me know. I asked her, she never replied. Then we blocked each other. No, I asked her, then she denied it. But I was like, I guess, I don't know. I understand if she lied to me. I understand. She's got a job with my mom. Of course you won't want to tell nobody that you gave them STD. You feel like it mess up your, mess up your name, your reputation, or you might mess up your job, and she picks up for it. I had to text my mama beforehand.
You text your mama what?
I had to text my mama beforehand.
Okay.
Okay. And y'all got my phone, y'all got to open it. I was lying when I said, I was like, you know what I do? I was like, I'll do somebody in front of the police and get away. I was talking shit.
Sheila's involvement began with a phone call she received from Keith shortly after he received the devastating news from his doctor. In a series of text messages that spanned 2 hours, Keith confided in his mother, expressing his anger and frustration over Brooklyn's supposed betrayal. Instead of offering her son comfort or guidance, Sheila responded in a way that could only be described as encouraging. She not only provided Keith with information about Brooklyn's whereabouts, but also sent him the address to the Home Depot where she was working. At one point, Sheila even told her son, "I'll tell you when we get close, but if you don't come kill her, you are an MF bitch." She continued to urge Keith to follow through on his plans, suggesting that he should not wait until Brooklyn returned to Alabama. Instead, she recommended that he go to the Home Depot and take care of the situation immediately. In another shocking message, Sheila told Keith not to shoot at her car, saying that she didn't want to die in the process. It became clear that rather than trying to prevent violence, Sheila was egging her son on, offering him guidance on how to carry out the murder with minimal consequences for herself. The text messages exchanged between Sheila and Keith were later recovered from Keith's phone, and they provided crucial evidence that Sheila had played an instrumental role in facilitating the murder. Sheila even went as far as to suggest that she had warned Keith not to shoot in front of their child, Casey, and that if he did, it would ruin his life. But the reality was, Sheila never once tried to stop Keith from killing Brooklyn. As the investigation unfolded, it became evident that Sheila had not only failed to intervene, but had actively supported her son's violent actions. Witnesses later testified that they had seen Sheila pacing outside the Home Depot while Keith was carrying out his deadly act inside the store. She was waiting for him to arrive, tracking his progress and watching as the horrific event transpired. When investigators spoke with Sheila, she initially tried to deny any wrongdoing. She claimed that she had only been trying to de-escalate the situation and that she had tried to talk Keith out of carrying out her plans. However, as the evidence mounted, it became clear that Sheila's actions had been far from innocent. The text messages she had sent to her son were damning, and they painted a picture of a mother who was more concerned about supporting her son's anger than preventing violence.
What was your involvement in what happened on Friday?
My involvement in what happened? My only involvement in what happened was Keith texted my phone and he said that he was gonna, his thing come back, I think Brooklyn gave him something, but he was gonna let it go, and that's fine.
Would it surprise you to find out that the text messages on Keith's phone weren't deleted between you and him that day?
Between me and him? I mean, no, it surprised me.
It would surprise you? Okay. Would it surprise you that I have 32 pages of y'all's text messages?
No, that wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. Do you want me to read some of those?
I think you can. I mean, you can. If you want to, sir.
Hell, if you're getting off right now, I'll give you the address here, and you can ride
that was
over
Brooklyn.
here.
It had to be Brooklyn. I would never.
And do it so that you don't have to do it in front of Casey.
I would never do that. But I understand where your hands
Why
are.
would Brooklyn send that message
I don't
to
know.
him?
I don't know.
Well,
I would never understand.
Hold on. Here's the problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So, what you've told us thus far is that, well, Brooklyn took your phone.
I didn't think she took it.
But then you're texting him. Now, conveniently, you're only sending the messages that make you look good.
No,
Hold on. Let me finish. That you're trying to talk him out of it, and then you want to come back with when there's the messages that he'll talk about. Then also, Brooklyn's got my phone again. So you guys are just handing the phone back and forth.
No, I'm sorry.
Well,
I know
that's what you're saying.
I know
that's what you're saying, because you're acknowledging the text message, and then when the one that comes up that's bad, no, that wasn't me. That was Brooklyn. So what you're saying is, because he's reading
You're right.
So what you're saying is, you and Brooklyn are standing there handing this phone back and forth.
Sir.
Bear in mind, we got video of the Home Depot.
I'm saying no. That we're not sending that back and forth.
Never had a clue where y'all were at, other than you were in Pensacola. And even if you knew, do you know how many Home Depots there are in Pensacola? I mean, he could have driven around all afternoon trying to find y'all and probably never gotten there.
I'm sorry.
But you shot the address right to him. Come on, come get her. After I've called you a bitch for not doing it, after I've told
I swear to God, I didn't do that part. Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
So again, we're back to, we switched the phone back and forth. So it's me texting, and it's her texting, it's me texting, it's her texting, it's me texting, it's her texting. The flow doesn't, your story doesn't hold water because the flow doesn't make sense.
50-year-old Sheila Ag was arrested and charged as a principal to first-degree murder in connection with the death of 18-year-old Brooklyn Sims. Sheila didn't just know about Keith's violent intentions, she enabled them. Investigators revealed that she was aware Brooklyn was in immediate danger, yet she still allowed her son to drive nearly 90 minutes to carry out his plan.
The mother accused of helping her son and the mother of his child is back in Northwest Florida tonight under lock and key. Sheila Ag attended a memorial for 18-year-old Brooklyn Sims Monday before being arrested in Alabama Monday night. She has been moved to the Escambia County Jail, where she is charged with first-degree principal. WKRG News 5's Jeremy Jones has reaction tonight from Sims' family.
Sick, sadistic, the lowest of the low.
That's the reaction of Roxana Roberson after learning Sheila Ag reportedly told her son Keith to open fire on 18-year-old Brooklyn Sims while she was working at Home Depot in Pensacola last Friday. The Escambia County Sheriff's Office released messages between Sheila and her son. One of the messages of Sheila saying, "If you don't come kill her, you," an expletive. The messages were revealed by the Escambia County Sheriff's Office after family members on Monday gathered in Citronelle to hold a balloon release in honor of Sims. You can see Sheila Ag in this video. Roberson says family members already didn't want her there. However, she said no one knew the extent of Ag's alleged role in her cousin's.
I didn't sleep in it at all that night. I tossed and turned all night long to know that you are that close. And I'm going to say, that's what I'm going to say. You didn't pull the trigger, but you gave him the direction.
Roberson says the family started making funeral plans for Sims this afternoon, and as they plan to lay her to rest, Roberson hopes more women can share their stories of domestic violence, hoping this never happens to another family again.
The perpetrator does not have the right to harass, bully, threaten, or put you in a position where you do not feel safe. We don't want another family to have to go through this because this is one of the hardest things.
Jail records show Keith Ag will appear in court on September 1st, and his mother Sheila will appear in court September 8th. Reporting in Mobile, Jeremy Jones, WKRG News 5.
During her initial bond hearing, Sheila's attorney argued that the incriminating text messages were taken out of context and didn't mean what they appeared to say, but the context was painfully clear. Authorities believed the messages showed foreknowledge and complicity, and it was enough for the judge to deny her bail. Keith's trial began in December 2023, where he was charged with first-degree murder. Despite his confession and the overwhelming evidence against him, Keith's defense team argued that he had acted in the heat of passion, not with premeditation. His attorneys hoped that the jury would show him mercy and reduce his charge to second-degree murder. The prosecution argued that Keith Ag Jr. made a calculated decision to kill Brooklyn after receiving what he believed were STD results. Almost immediately, he texted his mother, retrieved his 9mm handgun from home, and drove nearly 90 minutes to Pensacola with the clear intention of shooting and killing Brooklyn. The defense did not attempt to deny that Keith was the killer. Surveillance footage had captured the entire act. Instead, they sought to reduce the charge to second-degree murder, claiming Keith acted in the heat of passion rather than with premeditation. Keith even took the stand in his own defense. He testified that upon learning he had an STD, he was shocked, angry, and hurt. Consumed by rage, he grabbed his gun and drove to Home Depot, emotions boiling over. He claimed he never intended to shoot Brooklyn, only to confront her. According to his testimony, the moment he saw her inside the store, his anger began to fade until she dismissed him and turned away. At that instant, he said, something inside him snapped. Rage overtook reason, and he made the irreversible decision to pull the trigger. His attorneys argued this was a crime of passion, not premeditated murder. But the devastating truth unraveled during Brooklyn's autopsy. A full panel of STD tests was run, and the results showed she had no infections at all. Keith had contracted the STD from someone else. He had killed Brooklyn, the mother of his child, based on a false assumption, without ever giving her the chance to speak, explain, or even get tested. What made the tragedy even more heartbreaking was that Brooklyn had already been tested, and her results came back negative. She had even sent proof of her clean results directly to Keith's mother, Sheila, to clear her name. Sheila knew the truth. She knew Brooklyn wasn't at fault. Yet, despite this knowledge, Sheila accepted Keith's plan and allowed him to carry it out. In December 2023, Keith Ag was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the first-degree premeditated murder of Brooklyn Sims.
Count 1. Guilty of first-degree murder as charged.
Keith Ag sentenced to life in prison today for the murder of Brooklyn Sims. Closing arguments lasted just over an hour, where prosecutors argued there was overwhelming evidence against Ag, from cell phone records showing his intent to kill Sims at the Home Depot to the 911 call he made, confessing just 20 minutes after the crime.
This is about respect. That gonna learn his words. Gonna get revenge. His words. Gonna teach her a lesson. His words.
He said, was this something hot and fiery? Ladies and gentlemen, the only thing hot and fiery in this case was this defendant's premeditation as he fired those hot and fiery bullets.
Judge Coleman Robinson told Ag he forfeited his right to be a father, calling it a textbook definition of premeditated.
It's rare to have such a track record of what your thoughts were, what someone's thoughts were, what they intended to do, the acts they took to do it, and the culmination of it. It's rare that a premeditated is literally laid out right in front of a jury.
The most stunning revelation in the trial, though, connects back to Ag's motive. Ag says his reasoning for driving 2 hours to kill Sims was over a recent diagnosis of gonorrhea. Eyewitnesses testified Ag told Sims, quote, "You gave me something," before getting her down, including 2 shots to the back of her head. But prosecutors laid out evidence today proving Brooklyn Sims did not transmit the disease to Keith Ag.
You got mad and blamed her for something that, in disgusting irony, wasn't even her fault. And had you taken any time to think about it, you would have found that out.
The court also heard from Ag himself, who before the verdict appeared unfazed throughout the trial.
I think about Brooklyn every night. Every night before I go to sleep, I pray. I pray for Case. I pray for Brooklyn. I have regret is the understatement, please.
Brooklyn Sims' mother addressed the judge after sentencing, saying Keith Ag has forever hurt the ones who need him the most.
I don't hate Mr. Ag, but I can't forgive him here. I'm raising his daughter. That day, Casey lost her mother, her father, and her grandmother.
Sheila Ag's trial was not as straightforward. The evidence was complex, and her defense argued that she had not meant for anyone to get hurt. She claimed that she had tried to de-escalate the situation and had even warned Keith about the negative consequences of his actions. However, the text messages between Sheila and her son, which were revealed in court, painted a different picture. Sheila's involvement in the crime was undeniable, and her role as an accomplice to murder led to her conviction as a principal to first-degree premeditated murder. The jury deliberated for several hours, and the final verdict came in. Sheila Ag was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The conviction not only punished Sheila for her actions, but also served as a reminder of the devastating consequences that can arise when a parent enables their child's destructive behavior. Pensacola, Florida, where the murder took place, had been rocked by the crime. The community, which had witnessed the shocking shooting at the Home Depot, had to come to terms with the horror of the situation. While the investigation and trials proceeded, the town came together to support Brooklyn's family. Candlelight vigils were held, and local churches organized prayer groups for the grieving family. The entire community mourned Brooklyn's loss, knowing that a bright light was snuffed out far too soon. Brooklyn's friends and family also rallied around Casey, ensuring that she was surrounded by love during this difficult time. They worked together to make sure that Casey's life would be as normal as possible, despite the tragic circumstances she had faced. Brooklyn's mother, Cornelia, took on the responsibility of raising her granddaughter, and her strength and resilience became the cornerstone of Casey's upbringing. Brooklyn Sims's death is a tragic reminder of the destructive power of jealousy, anger, and unaddressed emotional issues in relationships. It also highlights the danger of unchecked violence and the need for early intervention to prevent such tragedies from occurring. Her life was stolen, but her memory and the lessons learned from her death will live on in the hearts of all who knew her. What do you think about it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story intriguing, please like, share, and don't forget